Resolving high-interest unsecured debt comes down to the tactical application of psychology. You can force a 0% settlement by weaponizing the sunk cost fallacy and strategic silence against a collector's internal corporate quotas. Escaping these balances requires you to systematically dismantle the scripts recovery agents use to maintain control. Unsecured debt lacks physical collateral. There is no car or house for the bank to repossess. Their only real leverage is the fear of their own authority. Once an account reaches 180 days without payment, federal rules force the bank to charge off the debt as a total loss. Maintaining this account is expensive. Between agent salaries and mailing costs, profit margins shrink every day it remains open. At the 6-month mark, you transition from a paying customer into a toxic liability that the bank is desperate to eliminate. You can stop the collection cycle by signaling mathematical insolvency, a process that requires far less legal drama than an actual bankruptcy filing. IRS Form 982 serves as your primary tool here. By using this framework to prove that your total liabilities mathematically outweigh the fair market value of your assets, you provide a legal paper trail of financial ruin. When a bank receives this data, their internal recovery algorithms flag an account as an uncollectible loss. If there are no assets to seize, litigation becomes a waste of corporate resources. Proving you are mathematically insolvent destroys the bank's expectation of full recovery, forcing them to negotiate on your terms or risk getting nothing. Pivot from defense to offense by treating your account as a negotiable business liability. Banks prioritize net present value, preferring 40 cents today over a slim chance at a full dollar through a 5-year litigation battle. This pressure peaks quarterly. Management faces strict liquidation targets in March, June, September, and December, authorizing lower settlements to clear their reports. Timing a settlement offer for the final 2 weeks of a quarter exploits the manager's need to remove toxic assets from their immediate balance sheet. Debt collectors work on a volume-based quota system. Their profit depends on spending the least amount of time possible on any single account. You can break that efficiency by invoking the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act to demand a formal debt validation. This demand forces the agency to halt all collection activity and perform hours of uncompensated research to track down original contracts and verify the chain of title. Third-party agencies often purchase debt portfolios for pennies without receiving the original documentation. Faced with a legal demand for paperwork they don't actually possess, many collectors simply drop the claim to avoid the expense of an unwinnable fight. Recovery agents rely on 3 psychological triggers: manufactured urgency, personal guilt, and isolating you from professional advice. Use tactical empathy to de-escalate these attacks. Acknowledge their role by saying, "It seems like you have a quota you're trying to hit," which validates the agent while you remain unmoved by their pressure. Next, deploy the door-in-the-face technique by submitting an outrageously low, mathematically impossible offer, starting as low as 15% of the balance. Forcing the collector to reject this lowball offer is a necessary step. It makes your actual target of a 40% settlement or a 0% payment plan feel like a hard-won victory for the agent. You win the negotiation by satisfying the collector's psychological need to feel they have extracted the maximum possible value from the exchange. If a collector attempts to regain control through threats or aggression, you must execute the final legal stop. Use these 11 words to immediately halt the harassment. Please cease and desist all calls and contact with me immediately. After presenting your 0% offer, follow it with absolute, unbroken silence. Hold that silence for exactly 7 to 9 seconds. This intense psychological pressure forces the collector to break their script, often revealing their absolute bottom-line settlement. Applying these tactical pressures forces creditors to make a rational economic choice, choosing a guaranteed settlement over the escalating cost of a difficult file. Subscribe for more strategies on mastering